Hello. So we've just had the budget 2021. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the main points. It definitely was a whatever it takes budget. There was further COVID support, which I think had been somewhat expected. The furlough has been extended to the end of September. Employees are still to receive 80% for hours worked, but the employers will be expected to contribute 10% for July and 20% for August and September. The self-employed scheme has also been extended to September. The fourth grant, expected to be available sort of late April, will be at 80% of 3 months average profit again. The fifth grant, which will cover the period from May onwards. With that, if you can demonstrate that you've got a more than 30% drop in turnover, you'll get 80%. And if you've got a less than 30% drop in turnover, you will only get 30%. And again, of 3 months profit, although it does say it's covering a 5-month period, which is a bit odd. But good news for the newly self-employed. So previously, the self-employed grants were always based on your 18-19 return, and therefore newly self-employed did not qualify. However, he said in his speech that if their 19-20 tax return had been submitted by midnight on the 2nd of March, they would now be entitled to the fourth and fifth grants. Quite what the mechanism will be for calculating average profits, I assume it will be based on that return. We just have to wait and see with the fine detail. Universal Credit also extended the extra £20 a week for a further 6 months, and working tax credit claimants will now get a one-off payment of £500. The grant for employees taking on a new apprentice of any age is going to be doubled to £3,000. There will also be grants available from April for non-essential businesses opening for up to £6,000 per premises, and others such as gyms, salons, pubs, etc. that are in the next sort of round of the easing of the lockdown restrictions of up to £18,000. Recovery loans will be available to take over from the CBILS and the Bounce Back Loan Scheme, 80% guaranteed and between £25,000 and £10 million. Rates holidays, there will be 100% rate holidays for a further 3 months to end in June. Salons, pubs, etc. will then get a 2/3 discount for closed businesses, but there will be a slightly lower cap if those businesses have been able to open. The hospitality reduced VAT rate of 5% is to continue to 30th of September, which is a very welcome announcement, and then rise to only 12.5% to March 2022. The stamp duty holiday, as had been kind of leaked and we expected, the £500,000 nil rate band, it will be extended to the 30th of June. That will be reduced then to £250,000 to the 30th of September, and from the 1st of October it will revert to its normal rate of £125,000. Of course, the extra 3% rate still does apply if it is applicable to you. There will be the introduction of a mortgage guarantee scheme, which will give a government-backed guarantee for mortgages where there is a 5% deposit for home buyers. There will also, as we expected, be the creation of an HMRC COVID fraud task force, and we are actually already seeing HMRC enquiries into furlough claims. So for tax, there is a freezing of the personal allowance, basic rate threshold, inheritance tax nil rates, pensions allowances, and capital gains annual exemption at the 2021-22 levels, which had previously been announced, and that freeze will remain in place until 2026. The VAT threshold will also be frozen for another 2 years until 2024. Despite massive rumours being speculated, which again translated into fact. There has been no rise in the CGT rate or any change to business asset disposal relief, which was formerly entrepreneurs relief, of course. But for corporation tax relief, as had been kind of expected, from April 2023, the corporation tax rate will increase to 25%. But for profits to £50,000 for a company, it will still remain at 19%. And there will be a taper mechanism for profits between £50,000 per annum and £250,000 per annum. So the full rate of 25% will only be paid for those making profits of more than £250,000 per annum. Another bit of good news is there will now be a 3-year loss carryback period for up to £2 million of losses, and that will be available for a 2-year period, which will include companies, sole trades and partnerships. But there will be a review of the bank surcharge in light of that increase. Something that has not been seen in my career in tax, we will now get what's called a super deduction for 2 years. Normally you get any investment that you spend at the 19% corporation tax rate because you get an annual allowance. So you get full deduction against your profit for the amount of investment you make. That is going to increase from a 100% deduction from profit as you currently get to 130% reduction in profit. So effectively, it means you will, in that 2-year period, be getting 25% tax relief on any investment for main rate assets, only 50% special super deduction for special rate assets. And if you're unsure of the difference, please get in touch with us. That's not a problem. There will also be a review of research and development relief and enterprise management incentive schemes, which provide opportunities for employees to own shares in their employer company. In addition, there will be help to grow support assistance for training costs, and there will be a consultation with the FCA to formulate a pensions future breakthrough fund, which should enable investment in sort of additional classes of assets for pension funds, which is good news. So all round, a pretty good news budget. A bit of a sting in the tail. We knew tax rises were coming. They've been mainly aimed at more profitable companies, and the much dreaded rise in CGT rate did not materialise. We will, of course, be reading the fine detail over the next this afternoon and tomorrow as it gets released. And anything that obviously hasn't been sort of really specifically mentioned in his speech, we will get out to you, and Tina will do her usual magic overnight and get the budget booklets out to you also. So if you've got any queries at all relating to anything in the budget, please do get in contact with your usual contact at Peplo's, and we will be in touch in due course to help you navigate through it. So thank you very much for staying with us and listening, and we hope to see you soon. Take care.